So here we go, Sharon.
Hi, I am here as
Yes.
a substitute for Carl Hancock Rux. He
Good.
fortunately had something come up and wasn't able to join us today. So our apologies. Maude Mitchell, it was in the waiting room. I presume she'll be here momentarily.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure.
So should we wait for her? Should we?
No, so tell us a little bit, not everybody knows about the Mabou Mines. We also have many international listeners. Maybe tell us a little bit about the Mabou Mines and perhaps also PS 122, now known as Performance Space, where you are and what you do.
Yes, so Mabou Mines is a 50-year-old collective experimental theater company whose founders were Joanna Kalitis, Lee Brewer, Philip Glass, Ruth Malachek, and David Warlow. So the company is just celebrating our 50th anniversary, and we're a collective of theater artists making experimental work. And we're located in the East Village at the 122 building, which is where PS 122 was for many, many years. Now it's called Performance Space New York. We underwent a massive renovation a few years ago, so we're back in the building. And pandemic kind of paused things for a while too. So we're back and beginning to perform again just in next month, actually. We're doing a piece called the Vicksburg Project, based on women's lives in Vicksburg, Mississippi, over 4 different periods, 50-year increments. So that's premiering next month.
Yeah, so thank you so much. And for all of our listeners to know, PS or PS 122 was also a place for New York artists. It had a very strong local roots in the community. Many artists came out there, often performance artists, solo performers, and it has a great history, but then also developed as a place, as a host for international and global work. So Maude and Yulia, welcome both. Maybe you also talk and say who you are. Maybe we start with Maude.
Hi, I had a little trouble getting in through the internet. I've been working with Mabou for 20 years, primarily with my beloved late Lee Brewer. And but as we were talking about this event today, we have 2 brief offerings, and then we really would like to augment the voices of Ukraine. And in particular, we have invited Yulia, who's a representative of an organization that some of you may be familiar with, Razom, that not only is doing incredible relief work, but also interesting street theater that I think will be of interest to hear about.
Fantastic, yes.
And Sharon's going to read first. And then I have a song to offer. Not that I'm singing. And then Yulia. Okay.
So Sharon, tell us, what are you going to read?
Well, when we were talking about, this desperate situation, a piece that Mabou Mines did in the 80s called Dead End Kids, a story of nuclear power. And it was, let's call it agitprop, but I mean, it was an amazing piece. And I'm going to read a small section that was written by Paracelsus, who was an alchemist in the medieval times. And essentially, the point of the show, I believe, and I spoke with Joanna Kalitis about this, who is the director and the conceiver of the piece, that it's really about the danger of an investigation that could lead to something that unexpected and lead us somewhere quite unexpected. So I'll just read it. And this is an offering in solidarity with the people of Ukraine. I am the poison dripping dragon who is everywhere, that upon which I rest, and that which rests upon me will be found in me by those who pursue their investigations in accordance with the rules of the art. My water and fire destroy and put together. From my body, you may extract the green lion and the red. But if you do not have exact knowledge of me, you will destroy your five senses with my fire. From my snout, there comes a spreading poison that has brought death to many. I bestow on you the powers of the male and the female, and those of heaven and earth. The mysteries of my art must be handled with courage and greatness of mind. If you would conquer me by the power of fire, for already very many have come to grief. I am the egg of nature, known only to the wise, who in piety and modesty bring from the microcosm, which was prepared for mankind by Almighty God, but given only to the few, while the many long for it in vain. I am the old dragon found everywhere on the globe of the earth, father and mother, young and old, very strong and very weak, death and resurrection, visible and invisible, hard and soft. I descend into the earth and ascend to the heavens. I am the highest and the lowest, the lightest and the heaviest. I contain the light of nature. I am dark and light. I come forth from heaven and earth. By virtue of the sun's rays, all the colors shine in me and all the metals. I am the carbuncle of the sun, the most noble, purified earth through which you may change copper, iron, tin, and lead into gold. Again, that's from Dead End Kids, written in, created in the 1980s and toured throughout the United States. At the time, we were dealing with, nuclear plants that were exploding, but also it was looking at Los Alamos and Nagasaki and, all the devastation that nuclear power wrought throughout the world. So,
and we know that Russian troops were actually artillery was shooting at the plants, nuclear plants, in the Ukraine. Russian troops actually went through Chernobyl without any special protection and disregard for their own lives in a way. And whoever would have thought that a Soviet or a Russian army, would shoot at a nuclear reactor? It's shocking, and I guess this piece proved to be timeless.
Yes, well, we didn't expect to have to bring it out again, but we may need to. So I'll hand it off to Maude now, who has another, artistic piece.
Oh, and I was looking for something to share that was both a salute to, a testament to the spirit of endurance and perseverance, but also a bulwark against despair, which I think many of us have been feeling. And this is a song from the piece, The Warrior Ant, that was a great extravaganza, a cross-cultural collaboration, written and directed by Lee, and the music is composed by Bob Telson, and you'll hear Sam Butler singing. And there was a 16-foot tall ant in it. And then, Ratchet, take it away. Thank you, Ratchet.
Thank you.
Just
Thank you.
Like
Go
to
ahead.
hand it off to Yulia.
Yeah, but it's also that moment. It's a great idea. A warrior ant. It's kind of small, tiny, but it can be very big. And you have to be a warrior, but you have to be persistent and precise and in kind of organized as a community. So, Maude, tell us a bit. Why did you want to bring Julia on?
Because I felt as though it's really, we're here in solidarity, but we want to augment the voices of Ukrainians, and as she can speak most directly to what the issue is at hand, and the work that this organization is doing is quite incredible. So please, let's hear from Yulia.
Julia.
Okay, hi, thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting. I do represent the Razom For Ukraine. It's actually an organization that's also located in the East Village, right next to Veselka. That's where we started in 2014. That's where originally we were a response to the beginning of the war, which nobody realizes. The war did not start today. It did start in 2014, and the Revolution of Dignity that happened. But the organization was, for some times, actually this was more of a peace, not peacetime, but more ceasefire, more quiet time. We had we did a lot of cultural, educational project. There was a book club where people were gathering, reading books, and one of the Ukrainian actually, our Ukrainian author was nominated for Nobel Prize this year. So all of that was halted and put on pause when on February 24th, the full invasion happened, and we mobilized. I can share at some point our website. We mobilized. We're doing emergency response right now, and the emergency response, besides the sending the first aid, sending hospitals, helping refugees in Ukraine moving, we have this taken onto the streets. So shown basically we're doing that, it's not demonstrations per se, we're doing a lot of flash mobs to draw a lot of attention to the cause, to draw a lot of attention. For example, if you let me share, I can share screen right now, so I'll be more 1 second.
I know you've done events at Grand Central and in Washington Square Park recently.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
Give me a second. I'm trying to share it because I am just we did events that so do I do this? I should be able to. No. Oops.
And Razom means together, right?
Together.
To do something
That
together.
means together. Correct. Thank you. Now we can share. So this is so let's see if I can get. That's one of the example. It was I can go and probably share more pictures from the event that was actually done because as Bucha, as you know, the Bucha was freed, and a lot of cases when the women were raped came out, and that was one of those moments when people came together, and I'm trying to see how I can share more pictures. Because that's so then they came to share that they basically are silent. They were silent by Russian soldiers, and they were silent by at the time that they happened to on the occupation happened, and it's came out, and they did like this one of these flash mobs came out of this need
This one was in
to,
Washington Square Park, right? About a week ago.
that's
Square.
in Washington, DC. That was, let me just, because
Sorry,
I also,
Square Park, I think, or no, I don't know what this one.
in Washington, DC, I believe this was one of the also, that was New York when we did for the kids who were bombed in Mariupol theater. That was one of the flash mobs that was done in to get attention, that 1,300 kids were in this Mariupol theater that was bombed, and they basically were buried alive at this point. 130 people came out. So we have this flash mob to save Mariupol, which would draw a lot of attention, but because the siege and the people but we had to draw attention to that cause.
It's Grand Central Station, right?
That's Grand Central Station. Yeah, this is a Grand Central Station there where, and this is, oh, now I can actually, now I see how I can share, okay. Let me see. Share screen, I can share more of this, of these pictures, because I just realized. Yeah, so that was for the cause of when the all atrocities that were done by Russians came out in Bucha. That was done. That's still New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was still done at
Washington Square Park.
Washington Square Park. Thank you. So again, the person who is actually our team who is doing who is creating this, a lot of flash mobs. They created one today, and they are at the one of the event today is spreading the information. So unfortunately, they could not. Inna, who is leading at that, she could not be here with us today. She shared with me all these pictures. I'm happy to share with everybody, but I also can basically tell you how all these projects that we used to have on our, like you can tell it's on our website, it's razomforukraine.org. It's actually where you can donate right there. You can tell, like you can donate, you can participate. There's a way of donating your time, but we all have all these different projects, which is with the children, with the veteranos. We had Razom culture. That's all right now stopped, like all we did toy drive, it's all right now stopped for one and the only project, emergency response, which is where you can tell that we are basically all our efforts are right now on getting what is needed to the ground. And one of the most very, very important parts of our activity, it's doing these flash mobs and doing the going on the streets, taking to the streets and taking it to the streets in a way that we can draw as much attention as possible to everything that's happening. So that's
Sorry, this is Sharon. You were saying that there are different units who are handling various parts of the emergency response, you know, working with moving people and sending various essentials that are needed or helping relocate people. Can you talk about the different units you have?
Yes, we have actually, absolutely. We have This is one of, just a second. So we have one unit that used to be working with with kids in needs in Ukraine. They were helping basically kids with SM atrophy, muscle atrophy. So we were actually, it started with one child who needed help to get this one shot that was cost close to $2 million with their muscle atrophy. And the son, there was a kid who was a son of one of the soldiers who came back, who was a veteran. And one of our volunteer started this program, and she absolutely amazingly was able to fundraise $2 million, close to $2 million for this shot. So she, when the war started, she took on that. She is a doctor, and she took on that part of the project that they're moving people from Bakhmut, which is right on the line, on the front line, basically, kids on the front line. They are putting them on buses, moving them closer to the more safe places. And that's one of our emergency response. And I'm looking right now to see if they do have, that's hospital team. So that's the people who are helped right there. That's in basic an update from this specifically. That was done, published April 9th. So we're trying to update this. This is what people who were gotten on the bus and were moved by one of our part of our volunteer teams. So that's where we are.
Oh, you're at, Slim. Amazing. I think we have 2 minutes left. So this is certainly a project. Everybody who wants to get involved or donate is something to consider. It's an important work. And it's also interesting that you go and use what we would say street theater performance techniques to get the word out. And as we are experiencing that theaters who now go and do voluntary work, aid work, they help communities, as the Mai's Theater said today. We work now with our communities and we do less theater. So it's complete time of change, which we are experiencing. The world is upside down, but it's also something is happening and things are moving. We said it earlier that Tony Kushner, who was with us once, said that New York is a melting pot that never really melted, but perhaps with the time of COVID, with this thing like this war happening, there is something that perhaps will bring people together and rethink the fundamental values of our life, to the freedoms we enjoy and artistic expression, how important it is, how great today we had 24 theater companies. Everybody could say whatever they want, that nobody wanted to see up front, something that's really an act of artistic freedom, of engagement for what's right. And we really would like to thank the Mabou Mines that they also show that they care and that the Ukraine is on their mind. And I hope Maude and Sharon and Carl and Mallory and everybody, that you will be back in the theater, that you can perform and do what you love to do most and where you're very effective, but that these stories come out. And how great is to see this picture, of a powerful a moment of a woman taking a stand for what she believes in and what is the message. And theater is important because we search for the truth. I think we are at our 9 o'clock a moment, and we're going to move over to the next group, a new group that formed, and maybe you all stay for a tiny moment on so you meet them. This is the Ukrainian Actors of New York. It's a group forming right now of Tiasa is kind of joining us, and Tony and Alex, but Sasha Gordon or Sasha Odessa, she will change her name to her hometown, are with us, and they're gonna read to us. So tell us a little bit what you will be doing, and we would like to say thank you. Say hello to your colleagues from the Mabou Mines, and maybe Sasha, tell us a little bit what we're going to hear from you.
So today we're going to be reading from the Paris Review, the beautiful article that Ilya Kaminsky wrote, which is a compilation of stories of Odessa poets and writers. And we're going to give the voice to them by reading them and honoring them. And I would just like to add by saying that As you know, our fellow brothers and sisters are dying right now in the arms of pure evil. And our brave armed forces of Ukraine are defending the freedom and democracy of Ukraine, as well as the whole world. So when we watch this, right, we cannot help but ask, what can one person do? And we say that a person can do something. We can use our voices, and we can use whatever it is that we're good at to bring change, to put the spotlight on what's happening. And really, as a group, we have strength, because our strength is in numbers. So don't forget that we're all bringing the victory closer together. And like this event, there are dancers, there are singers, there are theater performances. Do that. Tell our story and keep going. Don't be silent, and stand with us. Spread the word. It's really important for everyone to come out and do whatever it is that they can do. Everything counts. Everything that lets them know that we're fighting for them just as they're fighting for us. So we're going to start off as one story. The first story I'm going to read part of it in Ukrainian, and then I'm going to read the whole thing in English. And then my colleagues here from our group, Ukrainian Actors of New York, are going to continue